The sun had barely risen over Rockwell, Oregon, casting a warm golden hue across the quaint town. Nestled between rolling hills and expansive farmland, Rockwell was the epitome of small-town America. The streets were lined with charming storefronts, each boasting its own unique character. On any given morning, the town would awaken to the comforting sounds of birds chirping and the distant hum of tractors working the fields. Harry Monroe, an 82-year-old woman with silver hair neatly tied back in a bun, was one of Rockwell's most beloved residents. Despite her age, Harry carried herself with a dignity and strength that belied her years. Her days began early, much like those of her neighbors, with a routine that provided structure and solace. Every morning, she drove her old, weathered Buick through the town, stopping first at Laurie's Cafe for a steaming cup of black coffee before heading to the local gas station to fill up her tank. Harry's Buick was a relic from another era. Its once vibrant blue paint now faded and chipped from years of faithful service. The car had been a gift from her late husband, a kind man who had shared her love for quiet mornings and simple pleasures. Inside, the Buick was meticulously maintained, a testament to Harry's meticulous nature. The dashboard gleamed under the morning light, and the seats, though worn, were always clean and free of clutter. As Harry pulled into the Rockwell Gas and Go, she greeted Jimmy, the young attendant who had been working there for the past 5 years. Jimmy was a friendly face in town, always ready with a smile and a kind word. "Good morning, Mrs. Monroe," he called out as Harry stepped out of her car, her movements slow but deliberate. "Morning, Jimmy. Just filling up today, thanks," Harry replied, her voice steady and calm. She moved towards the pump, her eyes scanning the surroundings with a practiced ease. Rockwell was generally peaceful, but lately, a sense of unease had settled over the town. Whispers of a new motorcycle gang had begun to circulate, unsettling the tight-knit community. Harry had heard about the Black Reapers from the local sheriff, a rough-around-the-edges man named Tom Barnes who didn't mince words. The Black Reapers were a notorious gang, known for their ruthless tactics and intimidating presence. They had recently moved into town, disrupting the peace that Rockwell had long enjoyed. Businesses were being harassed, and residents lived in fear of their unpredictable violence. Today, however, Harry had no reason to believe she would encounter the Black Reapers. She had chosen this morning for her usual errands, hoping for a quiet start. But as she began to fill her tank, the sound of revving engines broke the morning calm. Her heart skipped a beat as she saw a group of motorcycles screech into the gas station parking lot, their chrome gleaming under the rising sun. The leader of the group dismounted first, his presence immediately commanding attention. He was a tall man with a scar running down his left cheek, his leather jacket adorned with patches that signified his rank within the gang. This was Raptor, the feared leader of the Black Reapers. His eyes, cold and calculating, fixed on Harry as he approached her vehicle. Well, what do we have here?" Raptor's voice was smooth, but carried an undercurrent of menace. He leaned against Harry's Buick, surveying her with a mixture of amusement and disdain. "Looks like the town's old lady is out for a morning drive." Harry remained composed, her hands steady on the pump despite the tension in the air. "Just getting gas, Raptor." "No trouble today," she replied evenly, her eyes never leaving his. Raptor smirked, glancing around to ensure his gang's presence was noticed by everyone. The Black Reapers formed a loose circle around her car, their motorcycles revving loudly, the sound echoing through the gas station. Harry knew that intimidation was their game, but she had no intention of letting them bully her. One of the gang members, a younger man with a braided beard and tattoos snaking up his arms, stepped closer. "Hey Raptor, check this out. The old lady thinks she's some kind of hero," he jeered, his voice dripping with mockery. Harry felt a flicker of anger, a long-buried rage from her days as a combat nurse during the Korean War. But she kept her expression neutral, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing her upset. "I serve my country," she said simply, replacing the pump with deliberate calmness. Raptor's eyes narrowed, and he took a step closer, his voice dropping to a threatening growl. "You think you can just walk in here and demand respect? This is our town now, and we decide who gets to live here." Before Harry could respond, Jimmy had disappeared inside the station, likely reaching for the phone to call the authorities. Harry knew that the police would take time to arrive, and by then, the situation could escalate beyond control. She had faced worse in her time, both in the war and in civilian life, and she wasn't about to back down now. "Move along, Raptor." "There's no need for trouble," Harry said firmly, her voice carrying the weight of her experiences. Raptor laughed, a harsh, grating sound that sent shivers down Harry's spine. "You think you can scare us off with some old war stories? We're not scared of you." Harry's mind raced, recalling the countless missions she had undertaken, the lives she had saved, and the camaraderie she had shared with her fellow veterans. But she couldn't reveal her true background, not yet. Instead, she played her cards carefully. "I have connections, Raptor. Connections you don't want to mess with." Raptor's expression twisted, a mix of frustration and anger evident in his eyes. "Connections? What are you talking about?" Harry took a deep breath, her decision made. "You want respect? You'll get it the hard way." With that, she reached into her pocket and pressed a button on her old, unassuming phone. The device was barely noticeable, blending seamlessly with her keys and other essentials. But Harry knew exactly who she was calling. Within minutes, the roar of powerful motorcycles filled the air once more. But this time, it was different. A disciplined group of riders, their bikes gleaming and their attire immaculate, rolled into the gas station with purpose. Leading them was a man named Jack, Iron Jack Thompson, a name well known among the veterans of Rockwell. Iron Jack was a legend in his own right, a former Air Force pilot who had earned his nickname through numerous daring rescue missions. His presence commanded respect, and his connection to Harry was strong. As the Veterans Guard arrived, the Black Reapers found themselves outnumbered and outmatched. Raptor's face twisted in frustration as he realized his miscalculation. "You thought you could bully an old woman and get away with it?" he snarled, his bravado faltering under the gaze of the Veterans Guard. Harry stood tall, her eyes meeting Raptor's without a hint of fear. "It's not about age, Raptor. It's about integrity, something you clearly lack." The tension in the air was palpable, the conflict between two very different sets of values hanging heavy. The Black Reapers, once confident and unchallenged, now felt the pressure of facing a group that stood for something greater than themselves. As the morning sun climbed higher, illuminating the cracked pavement of the gas station, Harry knew that this was just the beginning. The battle for Rockwell's soul had been ignited, and she was ready to lead the charge. With the Veterans Guard by her side, she was determined to restore peace and protect her beloved town from the shadows that threatened to engulf it. As the morning sun continued its ascent, Rockwell streets began to bustle with the usual activity. Farmers loaded their trucks with fresh produce, shopkeepers arranged their displays, and children rode their bicycles to school. The confrontation at the gas station had left an indelible mark on the town's collective memory, a reminder that beneath its serene facade lay underlying tensions that could erupt at any moment. Harry Monroe watched the Veterans Guard depart from the gas station, her heart swelling with a mixture of relief and determination. She knew that the arrival of Jack, Iron Jack, Thompson and his Eagle Knights was just the beginning. The old woman had dedicated her life to serving others, first as a combat nurse during the Korean War and now as a pillar of the Rockwell community. Her actions that morning had not only stood up against intimidation, but had also ignited a spark of hope among the townspeople. Back at her cozy home, Harry sat by the window, sipping her morning tea and reflecting on the events that had unfolded. She had always believed in the power of unity and courage, lessons hard-earned through years of hardship and service. Today, those principles had been put to the test, and she had emerged stronger for it. But she knew the road ahead would not be easy. The Black Reapers were not a gang to be underestimated, and their presence threatened the very fabric of Rockwell's peace. Meanwhile, in a nearby city, John Bronco Williams prepared for his journey to Rockwell. At 70 years old, Bronco embodied the spirit of a true veteran. His rugged exterior, complete with a weathered cowboy hat and a sturdy leather jacket, belied the sharp mind and compassionate heart that guided him. As the leader of the Eagle Knights, a motorcycle club composed entirely of combat-hardened veterans, Bronco had earned a reputation for his unwavering commitment to justice and community service. Bronco had served in the Air Force during the Vietnam War, where he piloted helicopters in some of the most dangerous missions. His leadership skills had been honed in the crucible of battle, forging bonds of brotherhood with his fellow soldiers. Those bonds had never been broken, and now, decades later, they had formed the backbone of the Eagle Knights. The club was more than just a group of bikers. They were a disciplined, organized force dedicated to protecting the innocent and upholding the law. As Bronco rode his Harley-Davidson into Rockwell, the Eagle Knights motorcycles rolled in formation, their engines roaring with authority. The sight of the veterans, their bikes gleaming under the morning sun, sent a clear message to the Black Reapers. Rockwell was not defenseless. The Eagle Knights had arrived to stand alongside Harry and the townspeople, ready to confront the threat that had taken hold of their beloved community. At the heart of the Black Reapers' operations was Raptor, a man whose reputation for ruthlessness had spread far beyond Rockwell's borders. His real name was Marcus Reed, but within the gang, he was known simply as Raptor, a name that evoked fear and dominance. Raptor had built the Black Reapers from the ground up, transforming a loosely organized motorcycle club into a formidable criminal enterprise. Their activities ranged from protection rackets and extortion to more sinister dealings involving drug trafficking and illegal arms sales. Raptor watched from a distance as the Eagle Knights made their entrance into Rockwell. His mind churned with anger and frustration. The Black Reapers had thrived on intimidation and fear, and the presence of these disciplined veterans threatened to dismantle everything he had worked to establish. Determined not to lose his grip on the town, Raptor began devising a plan to assert his dominance once more. Back at the Eagle Knights headquarters, a refurbished warehouse on the outskirts of town, Bronco convened a meeting with his fellow veterans. The room was filled with members who had served in various branches of the military, each bringing their unique skills and experiences to the table. Maps of Rockwell were spread across the large conference table, marked with key locations and potential hotspots for conflict. "All right, team," Bronco began, his voice steady and authoritative. "We know what we're dealing with. The Black Reapers aren't just another gang. They're organized, dangerous, and determined to control Rockwell. Our job is to protect the town, support Harry, and ensure that the law prevails." One of the younger members, a former Navy SEAL named Mike, leaned forward. "We need to gather intelligence on their operations. Find out who's supplying them, where they're meeting, and what their next moves might be. Knowledge is our best weapon against them." Bronco nodded. "Agreed. We'll split into teams. Some of you will work with Harry to strengthen community ties and increase awareness. Others will focus on surveillance and gathering information discreetly. We can't let them predict our every move." As the meeting progressed, the Eagle Knights laid out a comprehensive strategy to counter the Black Reapers. They emphasized the importance of community support, leveraging their own disciplined backgrounds to instill a sense of order and security within Rockwell. They also planned to collaborate closely with local law enforcement, ensuring that their efforts were aligned and effective. Meanwhile, Raptor convened a secret meeting with his inner circle. The Black Reapers Clubhouse, an abandoned factory on the edge of town, had been transformed into a command center, complete with surveillance equipment and strategic planning areas. Raptor's second-in-command, a brute of a man named Snake, outlined their response to the Eagle Knights' arrival. "We can't let these old soldiers think they can run Rockwell," Snake growled, his eyes gleaming with malice. "We need to send a message. Hit them where it hurts. Disrupt their operations. Intimidate them into backing off." Raptor's expression hardened. "No, we're not backing down. If we're going to maintain control, we need to be smarter. We need to stay one step ahead. Hit and run tactics, avoid direct confrontation, but make sure they know we're still in charge." The tension between the Eagle Knights and the Black Reapers reached a boiling point as both groups began to implement their strategies. The townspeople, witnessing the brewing conflict, found themselves caught in the middle. Fear and uncertainty loomed, but Harry remained a beacon of strength and resilience, encouraging everyone to stay united and support one another. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across Rockwell's main street, a message was sent through the town's local network. The Eagle Knights had successfully identified a key supplier for the Black Reapers and were coordinating with law enforcement to shut down their operations. The news was met with a mix of relief and apprehension among the residents, who understood that the confrontation was far from over. As night fell, Rockwell seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the next move in this escalating battle for control. The Eagle Knights, with Bronco at the helm, prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead, determined to protect their town and uphold the principles of justice and community. On the other side, Raptor and the Black Reapers plotted their retaliation, vowing to reclaim their dominance at any cost. In the quiet moments before dawn, as the town settled into an uneasy silence, Harry reflected on the path that had led them here. Her life had been marked by service and sacrifice, but today, she realized, it was her unwavering spirit that had truly made a difference. With the support of the Eagle Knights and the strength of the Rockwell community, she was confident that they could overcome the darkness threatening to engulf their town. Little did they know, the coming days would test their resolve like never before, pushing each of them to their limits and revealing the true depth of their courage and unity. The war for Rockwell's soul had begun, and it was a battle that would define the future of the town and its people. The weeks following the Eagle Knights' arrival in Rockwell saw a noticeable shift in the town's atmosphere. Where once there was an undercurrent of fear and uncertainty, a newfound sense of vigilance and unity began to take root. Under Bronco's leadership, the Eagle Knights integrated seamlessly into the community, their presence a reassuring sign that Rockwell was not defenseless against the looming threat of the Black Reapers. Harry Monroe became a central figure in this transformation. Her unwavering resolve and deep-rooted connections within the town made her an invaluable asset. She worked closely with Bronco, sharing insights from her military past and coordinating efforts to strengthen Rockwell's defenses. Together, they organized community meetings, installed additional security cameras, and established a neighborhood watch program that empowered residents to take an active role in their own safety. Despite these positive developments, the Black Reapers were far from defeated. Raptor, the gang's ruthless leader, was seething with anger over the Eagle Knights' interference. Determined to reclaim his authority and instill fear once more, he began to orchestrate a series of covert operations aimed at undermining the Eagle Knights and destabilizing Rockwell's fragile peace. Behind the scenes, Raptor reached out to his connections within the local drug trade, seeking alliances that could bolster his gang's resources and influence. The Black Reapers had always thrived on extortion and protection rackets, but Raptor knew that to truly dominate Rockwell, they needed to diversify their criminal activities. He began forging ties with neighboring gangs, pooling their resources to create a more formidable presence in the region. Meanwhile, tensions within the Black Reapers began to surface. Not all members were on board with Raptor's aggressive expansionist tactics. Chase, a younger member with a conscience, started to question the gang's direction. He had joined the Black Reapers seeking a sense of belonging and purpose, but the relentless violence and criminal activities began to weigh heavily on him. Chase's internal struggle mirrored the larger conflict tearing Rockwell apart, highlighting the moral complexities within the gang. As the Eagle Knights and the Black Reapers continued their silent war, the local authorities found themselves caught in the middle. Sheriff Tom Barnes, a seasoned law enforcement officer with a pragmatic approach, was increasingly frustrated by the gang's brazen activities. However, his efforts to clamp down on the Black Reapers were often thwarted by the gang's strategic alliances and the possible corruption within certain segments of the local government. Rockwell's mayor, Linda Harper, faced immense pressure to restore order without escalating the situation into full-blown violence. Public opinion was divided. While many supported the Eagle Knights' efforts to protect the town, others were wary of vigilantism and the potential for collateral damage. Mayor Harper knew she needed to find a balance, leveraging the Eagle Knights' strengths while ensuring that all actions remained within the bounds of the law. Under the Eagle Knights' guidance, Rockwell began to implement more sophisticated surveillance and intelligence-gathering techniques. They partnered with local businesses to install hidden cameras and encouraged residents to report suspicious activities through anonymous tip lines. Bronco emphasized the importance of intelligence over brute force, understanding that knowledge was their most potent weapon against the Black Reapers. One evening, as the town settled into its nightly rhythm, Harry received an urgent call from one of the Eagle Knights. A trusted informant had uncovered evidence of a major drug shipment planned by the Black Reapers, scheduled to arrive at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Rockwell. This revelation was a game-changer. It provided the Eagle Knights with a clear target and an opportunity to strike a significant blow against the gang. Bronco convened an emergency meeting at the Eagle Knights headquarters. The room buzzed with a mix of anticipation and apprehension as members discussed the best course of action. They knew that intercepting the shipment would require meticulous planning and flawless execution. Any misstep could lead to casualties or further escalation of violence. As the Eagle Knights formulated their plan, Raptor grew increasingly desperate. His previous attempts to undermine the Eagle Knights had only strengthened their resolve and deepened their support among the townspeople. Frustrated by his failures, Raptor realized that drastic measures were necessary to regain control. He ordered the Black Reapers to launch a series of hit-and-run attacks, targeting Eagle Knights patrols and key community figures who supported them. The attacks were swift and brutal, designed to sow fear and chaos. The Eagle Knights responded with restraint, focusing on defensive maneuvers and protecting the innocent rather than seeking revenge. This approach won them further respect and admiration from the community, reinforcing the town's support for their cause. Amidst the ongoing conflict, Chase found himself at a crossroads. The more he witnessed the Black Reapers' violent actions, the more he questioned his role in the gang. He confided in Harry one afternoon, sharing his doubts and fears. Harry listened patiently, recognizing the turmoil within him. She offered him guidance, reminding him that true strength lay in protecting others and standing up for what was right, not in inflicting harm. Inspired by Harry's wisdom and Bronco's unwavering commitment, Chase made a pivotal decision. He approached Bronco and offered his assistance in infiltrating the Black Reapers, hoping to gather crucial intelligence that could help dismantle the gang from within. Bronco, though cautious, saw the potential value in Chase's proposition and agreed to work together, setting the stage for a covert operation that could change the tide of the battle. As the days turned into weeks, the tension in Rockwell reached a fever pitch. The Eagle Knights and the Black Reapers engaged in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, each side striving to outmaneuver the other. The town's residents remained resilient, finding solace in the unity fostered by Harry and the Eagle Knights. They participated actively in community defense initiatives, knowing that their collective strength was the key to preserving their way of life. Amidst the chaos, Mayor Harper worked tirelessly behind the scenes, negotiating with state authorities and seeking additional resources to support Rockwell's defense. She understood that the town's survival depended not only on the Eagle Knights, but also on the broader support of law enforcement and governmental bodies. Her efforts began to bear fruit, as more assistance and expertise were deployed to Rockwell, bolstering the town's defenses and enabling more effective countermeasures against the Black Reapers. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves painted the town in hues of red and gold, the Eagle Knights received word of a high-profile meeting between Raptor and a local crime lord known only as Vinny. This meeting was the perfect opportunity to strike a decisive blow against the Black Reapers, crippling their operations and disrupting their alliances. Bronco assembled a specialized team of Eagle Knights, each member bringing unique skills honed through years of military service. They planned to intercept the meeting, ensuring that Raptor and Vinny would face the consequences of their actions. The operation required precision and stealth, as any mistake could result in unintended casualties and further embolden the Black Reapers. As the Eagle Knights moved into position, the town held its breath, hoping that this daring move would finally put an end to the gang's reign of terror. The operation unfolded with tense precision, the veterans coordinating seamlessly to outmaneuver their adversaries. The confrontation was swift, with the Eagle Knights successfully apprehending Raptor and Vinny, effectively dismantling the Black Reapers' leadership. The capture of Raptor marked a turning point for Rockwell. With their leaders in custody, the Black Reapers' hold on the town began to unravel. The remaining members found themselves leaderless and demoralized, struggling to maintain their grip on power without the guidance of their formidable leader. The community celebrated this victory, grateful for the courage and dedication of Harry, Bronco, and the Eagle Knights who had stood up to protect them. However, the battle was far from over. The Black Reapers still lingered in the shadows, remnants of their criminal network scattered and disorganized. But with their leadership compromised and the community united behind the Eagle Knights, Rockwell was poised to reclaim its peace and rebuild from the devastation wrought by the gang's actions. As the town began to heal, Harry reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. She knew that true victory lay not just in defeating a gang, but in fostering a spirit of resilience and unity that would prevent such threats from arising again. With the support of the Eagle Knights and the unwavering determination of Rockwell's residents, she was confident that the town would emerge stronger and more united than ever before. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Rockwell transformed into a tapestry of shadows and flickering lights. The town, usually so vibrant and full of life, now held its breath under the looming threat of the Black Reapers. The tension that had been building over the past weeks reached its boiling point, and the atmosphere was thick with anticipation and fear. Raptor, known to his gang as Marcus Reed, paced the dimly lit backroom of the Black Reapers clubhouse. His mind raced with frustration and anger. The arrival of the Eagle Knights had not only disrupted their operations, but had also ignited a fierce resistance among the townspeople. Rockwell was no longer an easy target. It had become a battleground. "We can't let them push us around," Raptor hissed to his second-in-command, Snake, a hulking figure with a perpetual scowl etched onto his face. Snake nodded, his eyes burning with loyalty and malice. "We need to show them who really runs this town." Raptor's plan was ruthless and precise. He decided to launch a series of surprise attacks aimed at crippling the Eagle Knights and instilling fear back into the community. The Black Reapers would split into smaller, agile units, each targeting strategic locations that symbolized Rockwell's unity and resilience. Under the cover of darkness, the Black Reapers mobilized. Their motorcycles roared to life, engines growling menacingly as they prepared to execute their meticulously crafted plan. The first target was Laurie's Cafe, a beloved local establishment that had become a symbol of the town's spirit. The gang planned to set fire to the cafe's storage area, aiming to send a clear message to both the Eagle Knights and the townspeople. Meanwhile, the Eagle Knights remained vigilant, their disciplined presence a constant reminder that Rockwell was not defenseless. Bronco, ever the strategic leader, had anticipated such retaliation. He had already coordinated with local law enforcement and the fire department, ensuring that the town was as prepared as possible for any attacks. As midnight approached, the first signs of chaos erupted. Flames flickered in the distance, quickly engulfing the side of Laurie's Cafe. The fire spread rapidly, fueled by the dry autumn air and the gang's deliberate sabotage. Screams echoed through the streets as patrons and staff fled the burning building, their faces etched with terror. Eagle Knights sprang into action. Bronco led a team to the scene, their motorcycles screeching as they navigated through the narrow streets. They worked alongside firefighters, helping to evacuate trapped individuals and contain the blaze. The coordinated effort minimized casualties, but the emotional toll on the community was palpable. In the midst of the chaos, Harry Monroe took charge. Her experience as a combat nurse during the Korean War had prepared her for such emergencies. She directed first aid stations, tended to the injured, and provided comfort to those in distress. Her calm demeanor and unwavering resolve served as a beacon of hope, rallying the townspeople to stay strong despite the unfolding horror. As the night wore on, more attacks followed. The Black Reapers targeted key businesses, the local hardware store, the diner, and the gas station, each strike designed to disrupt the town's daily life and undermine the Eagle Knights' efforts. The streets of Rockwell became a battleground, with flames illuminating the night sky and the sounds of sirens and roaring engines filling the air. Bronco and the Eagle Knights moved swiftly from one hotspot to another, their coordinated efforts preventing the attacks from causing irreparable damage. However, the sheer number of assaults stretched their resources thin, and the town bore the scars of the night's violence. Buildings stood charred, smoke billowed into the sky, and the once peaceful streets were now marked by destruction and fear. Raptor watched the mayhem unfold with a mix of satisfaction and determination. His plan was working, forcing the Eagle Knights to stretch their defenses and testing the town's resilience. Yet, he couldn't shake the feeling that the Eagle Knights were always one step ahead, anticipating his moves and countering his tactics with unwavering resolve. Desperate to regain control, Raptor knew he needed to escalate the situation further. He decided to forge an alliance with a more formidable criminal organization, someone who could provide the Black Reapers with the firepower and resources needed to crush the Eagle Knights and reassert dominance over Rockwell. This decision marked a significant escalation, as Raptor was now reaching into deeper, more dangerous waters. Under the cover of night, Raptor arranged a clandestine meeting with Vinny, the Viper, Lombardo, a notorious mafia boss with a reputation for brutality and strategic acumen. The meeting took place in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, a fitting location for such a dark alliance. Vinny arrived with his entourage, his presence exuding power and menace. "Marcus, you've outplayed yourself this time," he began, his voice smooth but carrying an underlying threat. "But if you want to control Rockwell, you need more than motorcycles and intimidation. You need real muscle, real power." Raptor nodded, his eyes never leaving Vinny's. "I know what you're offering, Vinny, but how much are we talking about? Resources, weapons, manpower?" Vinny leaned forward, his gaze piercing. "Everything you need to take down the Eagle Knights and make Rockwell your own. In return, we get a slice of the protection rackets and drug operations you've been dabbling in. It's a win-win." The deal was struck swiftly, the terms agreed upon without hesitation. With Vinny's backing, the Black Reapers would gain access to a wealth of resources that could turn the tide in their favor. The alliance was a dangerous gambit, one that would push Rockwell into a deeper spiral of violence and corruption. Back in Rockwell, the aftermath of the Night of Reckoning left the town reeling. The Eagle Knights, though victorious in their immediate response, realized that the Black Reapers were more determined and resourceful than ever before. The community, battered but unbroken, began to rebuild, their spirit fortified by the trials they had endured. Harriet continued to play a pivotal role, her leadership during the crisis earning her even greater respect and admiration. She worked tirelessly to coordinate relief efforts, ensuring that the injured received the care they needed and that the community remained united in the face of adversity. Her bond with Bronco deepened, their shared commitment to Rockwell forging an unbreakable partnership. Chase, the young member of the Black Reapers with a conscience, found himself torn between loyalty to Raptor and his own growing sense of morality. The night's violence had awakened something within him, a yearning to do what was right rather than what was expected. He began to clandestinely assist the Eagle Knights, providing them with valuable intelligence about the Black Reapers' movements and plans. As dawn approached, the full extent of the night's destruction became evident. The town's main street bore the marks of the attacks, with scorched storefronts and shattered windows. Despite the devastation, Rockwell stood resilient, its people determined to reclaim their town from the brink of chaos. Bronco gathered the Eagle Knights and key community leaders for a debriefing, outlining the steps needed to fortify their defenses and prevent further attacks. "We've taken a hit tonight, but we're not backing down," he declared, his voice steady and resolute. "The Black Reapers think they can break us, but they've only made us stronger. We need to stay united, stay vigilant, and continue to support each other." Harriet added her perspective, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of her years. "Violence only begets more violence. We need to find a way to dismantle the Black Reapers without sinking to their level. It's not just about defeating them. It's about restoring peace and ensuring that Rockwell remains a safe haven for everyone." The meeting concluded with a renewed sense of purpose, the Eagle Knights and the community rallying together to defend their town against the escalating threat. They understood that the battle was far from over, but with each other's support, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Raptor, now allied with Vinny Lombardo, began mobilizing his forces for a more aggressive campaign. The Black Reapers were determined to crush the Eagle Knights and reassert their dominance over Rockwell, regardless of the cost. Their methods were becoming increasingly brutal, targeting not just businesses but also individuals who dared to resist or support the Eagle Knights. As Raptor plotted his next moves, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of desperation. The alliance with Vinny provided the resources he needed, but it also exposed him to new threats and complications. The mafia boss was a cunning strategist, always looking for ways to maximize his gains and minimize his losses. Raptor knew that working with Vinny would require him to make difficult and morally questionable decisions, but he was driven by an unyielding desire to control Rockwell at any cost. Back in Rockwell, the Eagle Knights intensified their efforts to protect the town. They established additional patrol routes, increased surveillance, and strengthened their collaboration with law enforcement. Bronco's leadership was instrumental in maintaining morale and ensuring that the community remained resilient in the face of ongoing threats. Harriet continued to bridge the gap between the veterans and the townspeople, fostering a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. Her unwavering dedication and compassionate approach inspired others to stand up and contribute to the town's defense. Together, they began to implement more sophisticated security measures, leveraging technology and community resources to stay one step ahead of the Black Reapers. Chase's covert assistance proved invaluable. His insights into the Black Reapers' strategies and internal dynamics allowed the Eagle Knights to anticipate and counteract their moves more effectively. Despite the risks, Chase remained committed to his newfound path, driven by a desire to make amends for his past and contribute positively to Rockwell's future. The Night of Reckoning had left an indelible mark on Rockwell, but it had also ignited a fire within the town's residents. They realized that their strength lay not just in the actions of a few, but in the collective effort of the entire community. The Eagle Knights, with Bronco and Harry at the helm, had become symbols of hope and resilience, embodying the principles of justice and unity that Rockwell so desperately needed. As the days turned into weeks, the Black Reapers' attacks became more calculated, targeting specific individuals and businesses that supported the Eagle Knights. Raptor's tactics had evolved, now employing a mix of intimidation, sabotage, and outright violence to destabilize the town. Each attack was met with swift and strategic responses from the Eagle Knights and the community, preventing the Black Reapers from gaining the upper hand. Despite the mounting pressure, the Eagle Knights remained undeterred. Bronco knew that defeating the Black Reapers would require not just physical confrontations, but also a deep understanding of their motivations and weaknesses. He began reaching out to former allies and contacts from his military days, seeking additional support and intelligence that could help dismantle the gang's operations from within. Meanwhile, Raptor's alliance with Vinnie Lombardo brought a new level of sophistication to the Black Reapers' criminal activities. With access to higher-grade weapons and more substantial resources, the gang became a more formidable adversary. Raptor was determined to leverage these advantages to crush the Eagle Knights once and for all, reclaiming Rockwell streets with an iron fist. Chase, torn between his loyalty to Raptor and his desire for redemption, found himself at the heart of a dangerous game. His covert assistance to the Eagle Knights provided them with crucial information, but it also put him at risk of being discovered by his own gang. The tension within the Black Reapers grew, as Chase's actions began to sow seeds of doubt and mistrust among the ranks. One particularly cold night, Raptor convened another meeting with his inner circle, including Vinnie and Snake. The abandoned warehouse was once again the setting for their sinister plans. Vinnie's influence was palpable, his cold, calculating gaze assessing the situation with a strategic mind. "Marcus," Vinnie began, his tone businesslike, "the Eagle Knights are becoming a significant obstacle. Their tactics are effective, but we need a more decisive action to eliminate them." Raptor nodded, his frustration evident. "I agree. The Black Reapers need to send a clear message that we're not backing down. What do you propose?" Vinnie leaned back, his fingers steepled thoughtfully. "We need to hit them where it hurts the most, target their leadership, disrupt their operations, and make an example out of a few key figures. A show of force that they can't ignore." Raptor's eyes gleamed with determination. "Let's move forward. We'll coordinate with our contacts to execute these strikes. It's time to take back Rockwell." As the meeting concluded, Raptor felt a renewed sense of purpose. The alliance with Vinnie had given the Black Reapers the tools they needed to escalate their campaign, but it also meant that the stakes were higher than ever before. Rockwell was on the brink of a full-blown war, and the town's fate hung in the balance. Back in Rockwell, the Eagle Knights and the community continued to fortify their defenses. They held regular strategy sessions, each meeting reinforcing their commitment to protecting the town and upholding justice. Bronco emphasized the importance of intelligence gathering and strategic planning, ensuring that every move they made was calculated and effective. Harriet's role became even more critical. She served as a bridge between the Eagle Knights and the townspeople, her leadership inspiring others to take an active role in defending their community. Her experience and wisdom were invaluable, providing guidance and reassurance during the most challenging times. One evening, as the Eagle Knights were patrolling the outskirts of town, they received a distress call from a local business owner whose store had been targeted by the Black Reapers. Flames licked the windows of the once thriving hardware store, now reduced to smoldering ruins. The sight was a stark reminder of the relentless aggression they faced, but it also reinforced their determination to fight back. Bronco led his team into action, their motorcycles tearing through the night as they raced towards the scene. Upon arrival, they found a group of Black Reapers attempting to set the final remnants of the store ablaze. Without hesitation, the Eagle Knights intervened, swiftly apprehending the culprits and extinguishing the fire. The operation was executed with precision, leaving no room for error or hesitation. As dawn broke, the town of Rockwell stood resilient, the scars of the night's violence slowly healing under the watchful eyes of the Eagle Knights and the unwavering spirit of its residents. The community rallied together, supporting each other in the face of adversity and refusing to let fear dictate their lives. In the aftermath of the attacks, Chase made a bold decision. Realizing that his actions could lead to the downfall of his own gang, he approached Bronco with a proposition. "I want to help," he said, his voice wavering but resolute. "I have information that can help you take down the Black Reapers from the inside." Bronco studied Chase for a moment, recognizing the sincerity in his eyes. "All right, Chase. We can use all the help we can get. But you need to understand that once you're in, there's no turning back." Chase nodded, the weight of his decision heavy on his shoulders. "I'm ready. I want to make things right." The alliance between the Eagle Knights and Chase marked a pivotal moment in the battle for Rockwell. With insider information and the unwavering support of the community, they began to dismantle the Black Reapers' operations piece by piece. The tide of the conflict was slowly turning in their favor, but the journey ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty. Raptor, now more desperate than ever, saw his plans unraveling. The Black Reapers were losing ground, their once formidable presence in Rockwell waning under the relentless pressure from the Eagle Knights and the community. Determined not to give up, Raptor intensified his efforts, pushing his gang to their limits in a final bid to regain control. As the days turned into weeks, Rockwell continued to stand strong against the Black Reapers' onslaught. The Eagle Knights, with Bronco and Harry leading the charge, remained a steadfast force of justice and resilience. The town's spirit, tempered by the trials it had endured, burned brighter than ever, a beacon of hope against the darkness that threatened to engulf it. The night of reckoning had been a defining moment for Rockwell, a testament to the power of unity and the unyielding strength of those who stood up for what was right. As the battle raged on, the town's residents remained resolute, their hearts filled with courage and their spirits unbroken. Together, they were determined to reclaim their town from the shadows and build a future founded on justice, compassion, and unwavering community spirit. The days following the night of reckoning saw Rockwell grappling with the aftermath of the Black Reapers' relentless assaults. The town's resilience was being tested, but the unified front presented by the Eagle Knights and the community's unwavering support provided a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. Bronco, John Williams, and Harry Monroe worked tirelessly, coordinating with local law enforcement and leveraging their extensive network of veterans to fortify Rockwell's defenses. Raptor, now aware of the escalating stakes, sought out his new ally, Vinny, the Viper, Lombardo. Vinny was a seasoned mafia boss with deep ties in organized crime, known for his strategic mind and ruthless efficiency. Their meeting took place in the dimly lit backroom of an abandoned warehouse, a place chosen for its seclusion and strategic advantage. "Marcus," Vinny began, his voice smooth yet edged with menace, "the Eagle Knights are proving to be more of a thorn in our side than anticipated. If we're going to maintain control over Rockwell, we need to escalate our operations." Raptor nodded, his frustration evident. "I agree. We need to dismantle their presence piece by piece, make them retreat before we come for them in full force." Vinny leaned forward, his eyes glinting with ambition. "We can provide you with the resources you need, advanced weaponry, intelligence on their movements, even insider information if necessary. With our combined forces, the Eagle Knights won't stand a chance." The alliance was sealed with a firm handshake, a pact that would see the Black Reapers bolstered by Vinny's extensive criminal network. With these new resources, Raptor felt a surge of confidence. The Black Reapers were no longer just a local gang. They were now a formidable force capable of challenging the Eagle Knights and taking complete control of Rockwell. Back in Rockwell, Bronco convened a strategic meeting with the Eagle Knights and key community leaders. The room was filled with maps, tactical gear, and a palpable sense of urgency. "We know the Black Reapers are aligning with Vinny Lombardo," Bronco stated, his voice steady. "This changes everything. We need to anticipate their moves and stay several steps ahead." Harriet, standing beside him, added, "We've strengthened our surveillance and increased patrols, but we need more. Information is our best weapon now. If we can identify their supply chains and communication networks, we can cripple them from within." The Eagle Knights began dividing into specialized teams. Some focused on enhancing community defenses, installing additional surveillance cameras, and training civilians in self-defense techniques. Others worked closely with Sheriff Tom Barnes to coordinate with state authorities, seeking assistance from the FBI and DEA to tackle the more organized aspects of the Black Reapers' operations. Meanwhile, Chase, the conflicted member of the Black Reapers, took his covert role to heart. His dual allegiance provided the Eagle Knights with invaluable intelligence. He uncovered plans for a major operation that would see the Black Reapers expand their drug trafficking routes through Rockwell, a move that would have disastrous consequences for the town. Bronco and the Eagle Knights formulated a meticulous plan to intercept this operation. They set up a network of informants and surveillance points, mapping out the gang's movements with precision. The plan hinged on luring the Black Reapers into a controlled environment where law enforcement and the Eagle Knights could strike decisively without collateral damage. As the night of the planned operation approached, tension gripped Rockwell. The town was on high alert, with residents acutely aware that a major confrontation was imminent. The Eagle Knights, ever disciplined, prepared their teams for the impending showdown, ensuring that every detail was accounted for. Raptor, emboldened by his alliance with Vinny, moved forward with his aggressive strategy. He ordered his men to initiate a series of coordinated attacks across the town, aiming to overwhelm the Eagle Knights and disrupt their plans. The Black Reapers targeted key infrastructure, gas stations, communication hubs, and transportation routes, attempting to create chaos and assert their dominance. However, the Eagle Knights were ready. Utilizing the intelligence provided by Chase, they had already identified the Black Reapers' main supply routes and communication channels. On the night of the operation, as the Black Reapers launched their attacks, the Eagle Knights and their allies were positioned strategically to counter every move. The first strike came at the town's main gas station, where the Black Reapers attempted to seize control and extort the owner once more. But the Eagle Knights intercepted them swiftly, neutralizing the threat before it could escalate. Similar swift responses occurred across the town, each confrontation handled with precision and minimal violence, reinforcing the community's trust in their protectors. As the night progressed, the true nature of the battle became apparent. The Eagle Knights, supported by law enforcement and federal agents, systematically dismantled the Black Reapers' operations. The coordinated effort ensured that the gang's attempts to spread fear were met with unwavering resistance and strategic countermeasures. In the midst of the chaos, Bronco received a crucial piece of information from Chase. The Black Reapers were planning a final, desperate move to reclaim their hold over Rockwell, a massive drug shipment scheduled to arrive at the abandoned warehouse district on the outskirts of town. This shipment was not just a financial opportunity for the gang. It was their last-ditch effort to solidify their dominance and eliminate the Eagle Knights once and for all. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Bronco called an emergency meeting. "This shipment is our chance to end this once and for all," he declared. "If we can intercept it, we'll not only cripple their operations, but also send a clear message that Rockwell stands united against crime." Harriet, ever the voice of reason, emphasized the importance of precision and caution. "We need to ensure that our actions don't endanger the townspeople. This operation must be flawless, with every team knowing their role and maintaining communication at all times." The Eagle Knights devised a multi-layered strategy to intercept the shipment. They established a perimeter around the warehouse district, coordinating with federal agents to stage a coordinated raid. Surveillance teams were positioned to monitor incoming traffic, ensuring that no element of surprise was lost. On the night of the operation, the tension was palpable. The Eagle Knights, along with federal agents, stood ready, their senses heightened and their focus unwavering. As the first trucks loaded with drugs approached the warehouse, the trap was sprung. The perimeter teams closed in, cutting off all escape routes and preventing the Black Reapers from executing their plan. A fierce confrontation erupted as the Black Reapers realized they had been outmaneuvered. The Eagle Knights engaged them with calculated precision, neutralizing threats while minimizing collateral damage. The sound of sirens and commanding voices filled the air as law enforcement moved in to secure the scene. Raptor, cornered and desperate, attempted to flee with the remaining gang members. But the Eagle Knights, anticipating his every move, had set up a final blockade. As Raptor made a futile attempt to escape, he found himself surrounded by Bronco and his trusted team. "You're done, Raptor," Bronco declared, his voice unwavering. "It's over." Raptor, his face contorted with rage and desperation, realized the futility of his actions. As he was apprehended and taken into custody, the remaining Black Reapers scattered, their morale shattered by the Eagle Knights' relentless pursuit. The interception of the drug shipment marked a decisive victory for Rockwell. The Black Reapers' operations were crippled, their alliances broken, and their influence significantly diminished. The community breathed a collective sigh of relief, knowing that the threat had been neutralized, at least for now. In the aftermath, Rockwell began to rebuild, the scars of the conflict slowly healing as businesses reopened and life returned to normal. The Eagle Knights, hailed as heroes, continued their mission to protect and serve the town, their bond with the community stronger than ever. Chase, his conscience finally at peace, chose to remain with the Eagle Knights, dedicating himself to helping others who had strayed but now sought redemption. His insider knowledge proved invaluable in preventing any remnants of the Black Reapers from resurfacing, ensuring that Rockwell remained a safe haven. Harriet, her role as a leader and protector solidified, continued to inspire those around her. Her unwavering dedication to justice and community service became a cornerstone of Rockwell's identity, a testament to the power of one person's courage to effect meaningful change. As the town moved forward, the legacy of the Eagle Knights and the strength of its residents became a beacon of hope and resilience. Rockwell had faced darkness and emerged victorious, united by a shared commitment to justice, compassion, and the unwavering belief that together they could overcome any challenge. The sun had barely begun its ascent over Rockwell, casting long shadows across the town's familiar streets. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of autumn leaves and the lingering smoke from last night's chaos. Rockwell had endured nights of terror, but today marked the culmination of their struggle, a final showdown that would determine the town's future. Raptor stood alone in the center of the abandoned warehouse district, his face a mask of desperation and rage. The alliance with Vinny, the Viper Lombardo, had granted him access to resources he had never imagined, but it had also pushed him to the edge. His mind raced with thoughts of revenge and control, each one fueling his determination to reclaim Rockwell by any means necessary. Across town, Harry Monroe was already at work. The old woman's home had been transformed into a command center, with maps and surveillance feeds spread out on every available surface. She moved with purpose, coordinating with Bronco and the Eagle Knights to prepare for the impending confrontation. Her experience as a combat nurse had taught her the value of calm under pressure, and she embodied that serenity despite the turmoil surrounding her. Bronco, John Williams, stood beside her, his presence steady and reassuring. At 70 years old, he was a seasoned leader, his eyes sharp with the wisdom of countless battles both on and off the battlefield. The Eagle Knights had become the backbone of Rockwell's defense, their disciplined approach and unwavering commitment inspiring the entire community to stand strong. "We need to anticipate his move," Bronco said, pointing to a marked location on the map. "Raptor is planning something big, something that could devastate the town if we don't stop him now." Harry nodded, her gaze fixed on the strategic points they had identified. "He's likely targeting a key infrastructure site to send a message. We need to secure those locations and ensure there are no easy escape routes for him." Meanwhile, Raptor made his way to a secluded area near the town's historic courthouse. He had chosen this location deliberately, a symbol of justice and community strength. The plan was simple yet devastating. Detonate explosives at the courthouse to not only destroy a central hub of Rockwell, but also to instill fear and demonstrate his unchallenged authority. As Raptor approached the designated spot, his heart pounded with a mix of adrenaline and determination. He had taken every precaution, ensuring that the explosives were carefully planted and timed for maximum impact. This act was his final bid to reclaim control, to show the town that resistance would be met with brutal retaliation. Unbeknownst to him, Chase had been following his movements closely. The young man, torn between his loyalty to the Black Reapers and his newfound sense of morality, had decided to act. He knew that allowing Raptor to execute his plan would result in the destruction of everything Rockwell stood for, and perhaps his own redemption. Chase approached Raptor under the guise of a loyal gang member. "Raptor," he called out, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "We need to talk." Raptor turned, his expression a mix of annoyance and suspicion. "What is it, Chase? We don't have time for games." Chase took a deep breath, his resolve clear. "I can't let you do this. It's not too late to stop. You don't have to destroy the town you once called home." Raptor's eyes narrowed, a flicker of doubt momentarily crossing his features. "You think I want to do this? You think I haven't tried everything else?" Chase stepped closer, lowering his voice. "There's another way. We can work together to take down the real threats, Vinny and the corrupt officials in City Hall. But you have to let go of this path of destruction." Before Raptor could respond, a signal from the Eagle Knights cut through the tension. Bronco and a team of Eagle Knights had positioned themselves strategically around the courthouse, their presence a silent declaration of their intent to protect the town at all costs. "Raptor," Bronco called out, his voice calm but commanding, "this is your last chance. Stand down, and we can resolve this peacefully."